We're good to go, Biggie.
All
All
right.
right, welcome, Puff community, to another edition of the OG Dragon Guardian podcast series. Biggie here with you, along some of the OG gang: Jordan Coleman, crypto counselor, blockhead, and poker master, Guinness drinking hero protagonist. As always, Puffies, it's an honor to share this time together as a community. This is now the fourth pod together with everyone, and we're moving through this dark forest as one unified dragon, step by step, day by day, week by week, continuing to grow, learn, reflect, and most importantly, respect each other's opinions, thoughts, and comments. The banter on the chats is fun. Sometimes gets a little bit testy, but that's okay. But from what I can see, we remained unified through the ups and downs. I think that builds resilience and character, and that's what family does. We all have each other's backs, and because of that, we're a healthy community that grows stronger and stronger. And just as an example, think how many people you know just from the Puff community, just by looking at their names, look in the audience, their familiar names. I see so many just looking out, and I'm proud to be a part of this journey with you all. We do have the Puff unbonding scheduled for tomorrow. That should be interesting. We're all still waiting for game three to play out with the Blue Magic tokens. I think we all anticipated that may have occurred prior to the unbonding, but it seems that may move now into chapter four. Congrats to Rogue for winning the Most Helpful Nomination Award. Melissa, get to work on Rogue's prize. I know he's anticipating that. And finally, our very own Haza won the award for Creative Genius. Prizes will be going out to all the winners. We have some great Puff merchandise. We completed our voting for the nominee process, so thank you everyone who participated in that. We also had the new roles rolled out just this week, so hope everyone is enjoying that and some of the new perks that come with that. We definitely look forward to your feedback on these new roles, and I believe we're going to set up a poll to gain some insight with that. Special guest tonight, Puff family. Many of you may know Belinda from past AMAs with Jordy or just by following Puff on Twitter. We're excited to have her join us here today. The OGs feel she's a special talent that we admire. She has a deep crypto skill set and is very accomplished, certainly an asset to the Puff community. We felt it was the perfect time to talk to Belinda. In fact, I just think we had the ETH ETF approval announcement just a few minutes ago. So to listen in, to learn, to be inspired, we want to continue to have special, interesting guests like Belinda on the pod with us from time to time, and we'll continue toward working that happen. Quick rundown of today's pod. We're going to start with Belinda. We want this to be interactive, so feel free as we move through the conversation with Belinda to raise a hand, come up and chat with us, or simply related questions that you may want to ask in the chat, and we'll do our best to get them all answered. We're going to dive into the recent Ethereum news, as I mentioned, and how this directly affects Puff and our investments. We're going to talk poker with Hero. As you know, we have our first big poker tournament this Saturday. I think it's at 2 p.m. UTC. We have $1,000 up for grabs and prizes, and also bounties on all the OGs and Dragon Prime's head. Also going to talk a little bit about Blue Magic tokens if we have time. And then, of course, the weekly Alpha Drop segment with Blockhead and JC. We want to dive a little bit into Nebula, who they are, what's been the potential relations with Puff, what we've noticed, and what may be coming up as we move into chapter four. So love to get Belinda's thoughts on Nebula as well. So to start, let me introduce you to Belinda, who is the founding partner of Sharding Capital. Sharding is a firm that invests in early stage blockchain projects. They have very deep roots in the Middle East, particularly in Dubai, and have now become a household name in that region. Belinda also runs a Web3 KOL agency called Shard Labs, and also hosts the largest Web3 demo day in the Middle East region, which is called Shard Dubai. Started her career in 2016 as a trainee in the Dubai Business Associates program under the patronage of Sheikh Mohammed, who is the ruler of Dubai. And while in Dubai, Belinda started helping out with ICO projects, with PR and marketing efforts, which led to her full-time CMO role. She has a deep understanding of crypto markets, started focusing more on angel investments, and recently, I think in 2021, moved back to Dubai, where she's joining us from tonight, and founded Sharding Capital. So Belinda, welcome to the Guardian Pod. How are you this evening? And thank you for joining us.
Hey, Biggie, that's a very, very comprehensive intro. So glad to be here. Hi, Puff fan. Happy ETF approval day. So glad to see ETH price flying.
Yeah, exciting news. So it was just If you take a moment just to tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe a little bit more about Sharding Capital and really help us understand what kind of projects is Sharding attracted to.
Sounds good. Yeah. So actually, yeah, I started my crypto journey in 2016. So back then, I was actually a student for the Dubai government, and I got into crypto because there was a lot of crypto conferences and ICO events happening in Dubai back then. So I started helping them with PR and marketing efforts. And then I started more angel investing. Then, like 3 years ago, I set out a fund, Sharding Capital. So as a fund, we invest into really early stage projects. So mostly it's a founders bet. So we look for very driven founders with interesting ideas, and also people basically we vibe. Because if we see the founders working on something interesting, and also we can properly coach them, and they also work well with us, then we support big time because we are more like activist type of VC. So we don't just provide capital injection. We also support the project with, say, building a deck, go-to-market strategy, KOL intros, VC intros, and go-to-market strategy plans and community building across various markets. Like we're quite good with the Chinese market, Korean market, and Japanese market, apart from the English-speaking markets. So yeah, like it's been working quite well for us when we get to support the project from day one. And the verticals we invest in is quite diverse, I would say. So we are investor of, say, barrier chain, like infrastructure. We are also investor of Truffle. It's a casino platform. We are investor of Entangle. It's like a cross chain. So we are quite like um, I would say vertical agnostic. These days we look at a lot of things in the intersection of AI plus Web3. But we are quite nimble and flexible. So if we see some verticals that's interesting and it's still not mainstream yet, so we will dive into that and be part of the narrative building and take it to mainstream. So that's something we really appreciate with us as an activist type of VC. We get to be part of the narrative building journey.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. So Sharding plays a crucial role in being the go-to entity for projects really looking to make their mark, early stage projects. And is there also a PR firm which functions as sort of a marketing agency to help boost projects?
Right. So we actually have several entities. So Shard as a group, and then we have the Sharding Capital, which is an investment arm, and we also have the PR company, PR and KOL agency called Shard Labs, and then the event arm is Shard Dubai. So yeah, the PR agency Shard Labs exists on its own and have been supporting like really established project as well, apart from our portfolio companies like established project as in project that are already listed on Binance and Coinbase and top 200 or top 50 coin market cap projects.
Okay. Now let's dig a little bit into Puff. We understand you're
Mhm.
certainly a big investor in Puff. So can you help us understand how you were introduced to Puff and what were some of the main reasons to deciding to become a major investor?
There are so many bigger whales than me. I love how people just always joke about me being a whale. I'm a small fish in the pond. But yeah, like I love Puff. The first time I heard about Puff is from Jody. So Jody, the disclosure, he's also LP for Sharding Capital. Um, and so Jordy mentioned to me about the project, and then we share with so many KOLs in our network, and so many of them also invested. Like a lot of Asian, say Chinese tier one KOLs also in Puff. They invested at the content creator rounds and they've been supporting Puff quite a lot. I think Puff is a very interesting creation. It's kind of serving as a Trojan horse for people to know about uh, and now it's on mental, right? So it's actually a very good education tool for people to learn about what is DeFi, what the on-chain experience look like, and then basically it's mostly we believe in Jordy, so we are part of Puff. But the more we get involved in Puff, for example, playing the games, etc., I'm quite just amazed at how much like say design put into the Puff games and just the journey overall. It's very intricate, and it actually provokes a lot of thinking in terms of trading strategy, in terms of uh, like how the on-chain experience can be like. So personally, I think it's one of the most high efforts meme token project out there.
We would love to talk to you a little bit more, as you mentioned, the Asian markets and the KOL interaction and what's happening there. And to be honest, here on the state side or maybe European side, we don't see too much of that activity happening, at least yet. And due to the language disparities, not to mention time zone differences, our community here would love to learn more about Puff's community in Asia and the Middle East and your involvement there, if any.
Mm. So, uh, so before talking about Puff, like Puff's Asian community, we can briefly mention like how the Asian crypto scene is like. So
Please.
the um the Asian crypto scene is sort of fragmented because the language is quite different, right? So, for example, for Chinese, they have their own like ecosystem, and then for Korean, for example, they use Naver, they use KakaoTalk for communication. Chinese, we use WeChat a lot, and then there's also other blogging platforms similar like Twitter in China, and then in Japan, they have Line and they have like a whole different like search engine. So localization is very important in this market. So that's why we always suggest like a project that we invest to have a lead in these APAC regions. Otherwise, it's very hard to earn their trust. For example, in Korea, if you have like if you do a lot of offline meetup, or Japan, you build a FaceTime with the community and you show your presence, they will know that you take them seriously. They will have an easier time trusting you and investing to you. And for example, Japanese, they're not cheaters. They invest into Cardano. They stay in Cardano all the time. So these markets, it's very important to have a consistent presence. Yeah. So for Puff, we have like a good start because we got quite some good KOLs to invest into the rounds, and they have been sharing Puff to their community. So the overall sentiment is really positive. Uh, one I would say small setback, not as popular as others say like Arbitrum type of EVM chains. So there's more education needed. So I think Puff is really doing really like supporting mental in this sense because a lot of people know about how to use mental chain because of Puff. I see a lot of tutorials on how to buy Puff. So they naturally also like preach mental. So yeah, like that's the overall phenomenon, like a situation. And there has been more requests. For example, oh, are there any TG bots that we can develop on Mantle to buy puff directly because, for example, it's very popular in Korea to have that TG bots that enables direct buying of certain like coins. Yeah, so we keep receiving like requests like that. But yeah, there has been a lot of good interest, and I think it's just a matter of time when we get more people involved. And another thing to be aware is that Puff is still on its journey of on-chain discovery, and there aren't many users on chain to be honest, right? So I think now we are just taking our time to have more people getting into this project as a high efforts person. But if once it's on, like say, centralized exchange, those more available places, then more people will know about Puff. But yeah, now I think Puff is serving its purpose of helping evangelizing the mental ecosystem.
Mm.
Yeah.
That is really interesting to know and to understand that perspective. And would you say the overall Asian community as investors have more of a patient, longer term view in their investment? Because you mentioned you don't see as many cheating type of activity.
It's different from country to country. Like
It
for
is.
Japanese people, they tend to be more, they tend to be like bag holders for a long time. I think for Chinese, like they do switch bags. They are like they're more opportunistic. But yeah, I think that's why it's important to run a project like a dopamine shop. You just need to constantly give like uh give something people look forward to, like community to look forward to, so they stay around long enough for the project to become like a phenomenal one.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. And Belinda, now that we are here, just about chapter three ending, what are your thoughts and what are you feeling about Puff now that we're about 50% through the project at this point?
Yeah, I think like now uh it it looks already to be more than just a meme coin on chain. So uh, I the by now, like under this preface of a Breaking Bad type of meme with consistent references, uh, it is it is like showing the yield primitives for mental under the disguise of a story-based game. So I think more people are learning that. So yeah, I think Puff is on its own discovery journey, and now I think the unbounding after the unbounding, there will be more like games or partnerships that bring more visibility to Puff. And later on, like, we'll just see the Puff ecosystem helps onboard more users to try out Mental in a risk-free environment. And also, like, the spot ETF longers can use their token assets across Mental network.
Mm. And Belinda, as someone who comes from Sharding Capital and has a background in understanding KOL and marketing engagement, what are your thoughts so far here on the US side, European side, on Puff's marketing efforts and kind of expectations moving forward? Because to be honest, that's a common community question, is we're not seeing much of that happening yet, and I'm sure that's to come, but just wanted to get your thoughts as we're halfway through on the
Mhm.
marketing efforts at this point.
I I feel like, for example, if you look at the target audience, I feel like Puff is not an average meme. Like the target audience for average meme is retails, who put in like say $100, $1,000, waiting it to become like 10K, like
Mhm.
50K. But for Puff, it's for high net worth individuals. You put in like 100K, you put in a bigger amount, and then you go to like say 2x, 3x, and maybe higher. But in a so there's less downside, and there's more guaranteed upside, comfortable upside. But for meme token, it's pure gambling, as in the downside. And the downside is uh, like you can expect this token to go zero, like when you
Mhm.
invest into average memes. So I think there will be more interesting DeFi plays that Puff gonna uh, include onwards. That's just my guess. I considering how smart the team is and how much efforts they putting into the project. I'm quite bullish that they will do more for Puff, and it's a very very long term project. So for me, I don't feel like I'm holding a meme token. I feel like I'm holding this like value buys and long term, like basically, yeah, value investment.
This is such valuable information, Belinda, to hear your perspective, and I think to help a lot of people understand the responses and the answers to some of the questions that I've asked you. I know, at least for me, it is. Um, and as we look at Puff longer term, any thoughts on what you feel may happen in Chapter 6 as this all plays out at the end?
um, I I don't have the answer because I'm not part of the team, and difficult to speculate. But I'm sure the Puffs team have something exciting cooking. I'm sure they will deliver the either partnerships, airdrops, or maybe listing. I don't know, like something truly special. Um, and I believe like we will see more people knowing about Puff. Thing like starting from the new journey. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all kind of guessing and speculating. So I was just curious to get your thoughts on what may happen. And none of us know, at least none of us OGs here have any more insight than you or anyone else that's not on part of the core team. So, and now with the spot ETF approval just happening, how do you think that may affect the relationship with Puff and Ethereum and METH? How do you think that may affect the project?
Um, like if you look at the mental treasury, it has like it's like a second. I think it's a mental treasury is the second biggest on chain. It's just right after Ethereum Foundation, so it's very well funded. Just with the yields, like BitDAO, or like say the mental treasury is profiting big time. Um, I and Puff is highly integrated with the METH or mental ecosystem. Is also actually the largest, like say NFT mint in 2000 this year, because I think at the mint of the green potion, public mint, there was like 4,000 or 8,000 ETH committed. Yeah, and also it's the, I would say, the best token distribution for meme token. There's so many people who stake. I think I don't know what's the percentage. Maybe someone can share the percentage. Uh, I remember at chapter 2, I checked the data. It's like 30 or 40% staked, and now we actually have more circulating. But like the overall like market cap didn't go down much. Um, and the distribution is quite also even. Like the largest wallet holders only have like I think 0.1% of the total supply. I
Mhm.
got those information on the Mental Explorer. I can share that link. But yeah, so I think ETH success naturally benefit METH, and then naturally benefit Puff. and Puff as a main mascot or main token for mental ecosystem, it will continue to run throughout this cycle. And I think if the team is like thoughtful enough, they will at some point channel the ETH yields to Puff holders, and maybe buy back or like giving airdrop to Puff holders, and that will constantly create like a good sell demand for Puff, and the supply is super limited. So I think like onwards, the Puff is gonna do well. So it's not just a 6 chapter story thing. It's gonna be like I would say a long term project.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree. If anyone out in the audience has any questions, we'd love to jump in. Feel free to raise a hand or get some questions over in the chat. And of course, OGs, if you'd like to jump in, any questions you may have for Belinda, great. I wonder now if
don't
this
know
is
if it
going to
was just me,
start
but
kind of a super cycle.
you were breaking
Go ahead,
up for us a little bit. I was just going to say, Biggie, you were breaking up for us a little bit. It looks like we've got some confirmation in the chat, so hopefully that gets resolved. But I think what Biggie was saying was we're happy to open this up to the audience. If you guys have any questions for Belinda, obviously she's very insightful, knows a lot about markets that I think most of us and our listeners have very little understanding of. So now's a good opportunity if you have questions.
I have a question really quick while we wait for the audience. Do you think the Ethereum ETF is going to bring liquidity to Ethereum L2s? And do you think that would be good for Puff?
Yeah, I think so like when BTC ETF is approved, then I feel like all the coin ETF will be approved. So ETH ETF will be approved, so ETF will be approved, and then the Ethereum ecosystem, like maybe there will be a LRT ETF, right? So I think these are all like naturally to happen because like the floodgate is open. And long term, it's just long term, it's hard to be bearish in like say ETH ecosystem or Puff. Yeah, I think Puff will just ride the wave, and I think mostly people in Puff they are more long term and also like patient investors. And I think now we just need more awareness building. Like for both mental and Puff. I mean, if now Puff is on say EVN chain, like say the more popular ones, we will be popping. But now because we want to support mental, so we will have more education work to do to include Puff in many like platforms to bring more visibility. But yeah, I think because now it's not mainstream, so we can be part of a narrative. So there's more upside to be captured. If it's already known to everyone, we might as well just move on to the next thing. Yeah.
Belinda,
So
one of
that's
our users, Melissa, in the Puff community said she doesn't have a question, but she just wants to let you know that you're an absolute icon.
Oh, thank you. I love the Puff
Melissa,
community.
yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, Jordan, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Here's one question. What does Puff need to do to attract the Asian community or to grow the Asian community?
That's a question I ask myself all the time. I think it's just really a lot of education. So, for example, recently we got a lot of Japanese investors asking about Puff, and then there are some a lot of like say campaigns happening to increase the Puff holders amongst the Japanese community. So. Some of them have been making like tutorials in Japanese on how to get Puff. Naturally, they also teach people how to use mental, like go buy bit, buy the MNT, and then like send the MNT to the MetaMask wallet. Those kind of tutorials. But yeah, like I think it start from like education, and then also more key opinion leaders and key opinion customers talking about path, talking about mental, and how bullish they are in this ecosystem. Then more people will start learning what path is actually doing. Yeah, so it's like a I would say more concerted efforts from multiple parties, but everyone is like a KOL actually, like what every one of us, Biggie is one, Jordan is one, like we don't have a strong definition of KOLs per se, because it's not about the follower count. It's about how genuine your content is, and how uh, uh, real your audience is. Even if you have only like 50 followers, but they actually are real people, and you have good engagement, you are a key opinion leader. Yeah.
Just for some, I guess, bullish sentiment. Um, have you heard about CMEF, about MEF? I think they're trying to push through a proposal to get like a governance token for Mantle. So that might bring some added liquidity, and hopefully some of that comes to puff. So
Oh, nice. When is the proposal?
I'm not sure when it's gonna be pushed, but I was just reading an article on it earlier, and I know they're
Nice.
planning to push that, and if they get the majority, then it's gonna be pushed through. So
So please, this MNT whales, go vote for Puff. Yeah, I'm sure Puff will get the recognition. Yeah, it's the go-to meme coin for mental ecosystem. Yeah. That's at least that's what like the Asian communities have been like evangelizing, and that's like what they are thinking. There's no other one. I think before Puff there was something called Inu, but now people already forget about Inu, and like only knows Puff.
Any other questions, team, community,
It's so funny. We only
OGs?
have two ladies in the community.
oh, not you reading
I
my
know.
comments.
We
I
need so
am.
much more, Belinda. We need so much more. We love to bring in the feminine energy into crypto. We need a lot more of that. And that's why we
We
love
always
having you on.
Yeah, when like so when they will always say, when we see like a meetup with a very limited amount of ladies, then it's a time
Mhm.
to buy low. And when you see a meetup with like more ladies, like half male, half female, then it's time to sell.
Right,
Some
so
good
if we
alpha
ever
right
get more than
So,
10 women listening to this podcast, we'll know that's a market top signal.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
yep. That's the alpha.
If we don't have any other questions, we can kind of move along to the next topic, or we could always come back to Belinda if some questions open up. But maybe we could have Hero jump up with us a little bit. We have a big poker tournament, our first poker tournament this Saturday,
Nice.
and would love to have Hero talk to you a little bit about some of the details.
Yeah, thanks,
Nice.
Biggie. So we have our big inaugural poker tournament coming up. It's going to be on Saturday at 2 p.m. UTC. And let me quickly put a screenshot into the chat for you, and I'll share my screen actually here as well. So it's going to be on Club GG Poker, and I know a lot of you guys have signed up for it already. Some of you may not have signed up for it yet. So there are instructions in the Puff memo channel, and that will tell you how to sign up for Club GG. So you might be able to see my screen here. Yeah. So Here is the kind of Club GG lobby, and you can see here at the top, or the second from the top, we have Puff's inaugural poker tournament. So it's not open yet. Registration will open 24 hours before it starts. So that's tomorrow at 2 p.m. UTC. And when it opens, you can sign up for it. And as long as you are a Puff holder, you'll be eligible to win prizes. And there is a password for the tournament, which is Echo. So I just put that in the chat there. But I'll remind everyone again of that tomorrow, because I know some people aren't here, some people might forget. Well, as Biggie said at the start of the podcast, there's $1,000 up for grabs, and that's going to be split between your placement in the tournament, and there's also going to be some bounties on the OGs. So we have myself, Biggie, Goo Goo Gaga, Blockhead, Boywag, and Control all playing. So if you knock us out, you'll get bounty. So at the moment, I think the total bounty pool is $200. So it's looking at $33 per OG knockout, and they're cumulative. So if you knock out 2 OGs, you get 66. If you knock out 3 OGs, you get 99. Or if an OG knocks out another OG, their bounty gets doubled, and then if you knock them out, you'll get that double bounty. So I think the bounty element to it will kind of add a lot of fun and excitement. And if you're not aware also, if you are not used to using the UI on Club GG, there's a quick post-pod test tourney. You can see it's a bit of a mouthful there, sorry about that. But if you check the screenshot I attached, or if you check my screen share at the top here, there's 33 people registered so far. It starts in 20 minutes. So it might kind of overlap with the podcast a bit, but it's 10-minute late registration, so you can sign up for that and just get a feel for the user interface. If you're not sure on the rules or anything like that, you can kind of just mess around with it. There's nothing on the line. There's no stakes or there's no prizes for this one. Just purely for people to kind of get used to the software. So that is pretty much it. And as I said, I'll do another announcement tomorrow when the registration for the proper Saturday tournament opens up.
Thank you, Hero. We're all looking forward to that. I know I am. And I think it'll be a lot of community fun, community get together, and be interesting to see who actually wins that tournament and becomes our first crowned poker king this Saturday. Moving forward, wanted to talk a little bit about Nebula. I'm not sure, are you familiar with Nebula, Belinda? Nebula marketing?
Not really. What's Nebula?
Okay, we're going to
Enlighten.
fill you in. We're going to fill you in. So I have Blockhead and Jordan. If you could talk a little bit about Nebula News and kind of a little bit of our continuous research that all the OGs do and trying to understand what's been happening behind the scenes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've been hearing a few whispers from some of the dragons, and some have been naming Nebula Agency to have been involved with Puff. And under Geordie's instruction, we believe that Nebula are probably leading the marketing effort for Puff. Now, again, got to say, we're just OGs. This is speculation. We have no inside knowledge about it, but that's our best guess at the moment, given the evidence that we've kind of built up. We also believe that the marketing strategy that you and Belinda Biggie were speaking about briefly earlier is intentionally slow at the moment, but any time could ramp up. Of course, it's down to Geordie when that happens. But if that's correct and Nebula are involved, then with their clout, they've got the capacity just to pump Puff at any time. So who are Nebula? Nebula are the leading Web3 marketing agency, self-proclaimed, and their client list, who they're leading the marketing for, consists of companies and projects like MetaMask, NordVPN, Ledger, Afia, Linear, Swissborg, Manta Network, Synthetics, I mean, they've got a big list of companies that they're working for, and they specialize in creating sustainable growth market strategies and execution to achieve network effect that can reach the masses. To market these kind of projects, they combine business development, industry partners, and they've also got a vast network of key opinion leaders, or Coles, as we were speaking about earlier. And the Coles that they've got on their books have a subscriber reach of over 200 million unique users. So when I say that I feel that they could pump price and pump market, I think that's correct. And I looking up a couple of examples. Nebula is a key core marketing partner for Consensus, currently leading multiple initiatives across Linear and MetaMask. Linear Voyage has been a key focus for them, and it's been one of their biggest campaigns in crypto history, with over 5 million wallets participating so far. And they also stepped in as Manta's strategic advisor to help execute the new Paradigm campaign. They handpicked and onboarded top-tier Coles, and they helped advise on the airdrop structure and referral model, which proved to be a huge success. And now, in just 90 days, Manta became the third biggest layer 2 by TVL, reaching over $1 billion in volume. So when Nebula is employed, they can bring in massive volume. And I think if that is true and they are involved with Puff, I just think it's super exciting that they could just turn on that tap at any time. So why do we think that they're involved? Well, one is because of the Dragon Whispers that we've been hearing, but also with the Coles that they've been using. Now, Miles, I think it's Deutscher, is he heads up he's a member of the core team as a strategic advisor, and other Coles they've got on their books. Well, we know that they're active in marketing Puff as well. We've got Virtual Bacon, Lady of Crypto just suddenly showed up at the social media launch of Discord and Telegram out of nowhere. And I know, Biggie, you had some screenshots of that as well. Crypto Banter, we spoke about this at last week's pod, where Ran was sharing his screen and we saw that he had the Puff server on his Discord. And the list is, you can just go and look at their list of top tier Coles and see that many of them have shield Puff previously, some of them before Genesis, and it has, as we've spoken about quite a lot, been quieter since then. But the fact that they can just pump it up at any time, and Geordie could click his fingers, and if it is Nebula, they could put this into action again, is just really, for me, really bullish, and I think quite exciting for what we've got to come with Puff. We just need Geordie to click that moon button.
I mean, it sounds like he's about to. Well, at least that's what I'm inferring from his recent posts. It kind of sounds like he's waiting for Ethereum to break 4K. So hopefully he just lets the media storm release and we get tweets and videos from Virtual Bacon, Miles, Altcoin Daily. But it might be some copium. But I do think we should at the very least start getting some more information about what's to come for Puff.
Yeah, it sounded like
Nice.
that we would get some information on the final decision as well tomorrow. Before or after the unbonding, we don't know, but yeah, I believe that probably will coincide with some additional marketing strategy and execution. Yeah, so that was it really, Biggie. I just wanted to kind of share that with everyone. They are whispers and it is speculation, but I do think that we can expect marketing to ramp up at any point.
Sounds good. Yeah, these KOLs have been already supporting like Puff previously, and I heard they are like also investor for Puff. So getting them more incentivized definitely will be quite helpful. Yeah, so So I think the like if you're collaborating with Nebula, that definitely will be helpful for Puff. But then again, I think everyone here can be a KOL. So like for example, if you are in Puff, then just regularly you can like share what Puff does, and share some comments, thoughts, threads. It could be like it actually it's a lot more genuine, organic, and has a higher conversion rate as well. So I encourage everyone to do that, and maybe one day, you'll also become like the one of the bigger KOLs who can also monetize, as in get rewarded for your efforts as well. That's how we also look at KOLs. It's not just the big KOLs, but also the small ones, like key opinion customers. These are very genuine, and I think it will be very helpful for Puff to have the Puff champions who go out there and keep sharing about Puff, and who also sometimes reply guying, people who are like interesting, and share, what Puff does, or just that people see like you are part of the Puff community, and this community is an interesting bunch. Because at the end of the day, the utility of a meme token, or say crypto, is that we want to be entertained and want to have fun. So yeah, if everyone putting these efforts, and I'm sure there will be more visibility and virality. Yeah.
Completely agree. I think we can all make a difference individually, acting as our own mini KOL in supporting Puff and promoting Puff,
Exactly.
on the chats or in the socials or tweeting, whatever it may be. But that can make a difference collectively. And connecting the dots with Nebula, I do think there is some involvement there. Again, just a guess, because we've seen Lady of Crypto come into the Discord. She's told us in the chat she's an investor and she's bullish. We know Bacon is an investor. Miles is on the AMAs with Jordy, so obviously he's involved. But at the same time, they may be big investors, but they're also very quiet about it, and they're not publicly promoting it. So we'll see if that's to come, but it's just a guess and a hunch from trying to connect the dots on what the future may hold for us. So from here, if there's any questions, please come up and speak with us, whether it's to the OGs or Puff or to Belinda directly. Just come up on stage, let us know, or write something into the comments, and we'll get your question asked. Amazingly, we're coming up on almost an hour already, so we'll open it up a little bit to Q&A if there are any, and then from there we'll wrap it up.
I was just going to say, Biggie, as well, just to continue what Belinda was saying about the community being involved. We've got the competitions coming up soon as well, with the memes, with the music, with the creative content. Another great way that the community can get involved and build the brand of Puff.
Agree. I'm excited for the music memes, which I think we're going to kick off hopefully sometime next week, to see what type of creativity we have. And I think that will really help social media presence. And who knows, maybe one of these songs will go viral and spread Puff throughout the social media world. And I think that would be a big asset.
Got one question from Aslan. Just wanted to ask Belinda if she would be up for playing the poker tournament on Saturday, and we could put a bounty on Belinda's head as well.
Ooh.
I will try to make it. I'm a newbie actually.
That's okay. Many of us are. Many of us are just learning. I think it's just fun to see everyone in the tournament, and
Yeah.
just to have fun. That's the whole point, just to play and interact and have fun. But if you can make it, no expectations. But if you can, we'll send you all the details, and we'd love to see you. I don't know what the time difference may be in Dubai, but it's 2 p.m. UTC time, so I don't know what that may be like for you.
Mm. Yeah, that's like the 1 p.m. UTC, 5 p.m. for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Jordy is a pro.
Yeah. Poker Pro. We're hoping he joins in too. We haven't had confirmation yet,
Bigger
but
brain.
we hope so. Yeah.
Nice.
If someone manages to knock out Geordie, I think they can expect a nice bounty on his head, given that he's the pro. So I
Hero.
think that would be a great source of pride for anyone in the community who managed to knock him out.
Here, I was just going to ask, with the sit and go tables that we've been practicing on, are they going to stay open after the tournament? I think it's been great that guys can just jump in from the chat, ask people if they want to join, have a game of poker. It's been working really well. I really enjoyed it yesterday. I wanted to ask if that could continue.
Yeah, so they can stay open and we can add new ones. If there's demand for different formats, we can add them in. Because yeah, as it is a really good way to kind of interact with each other. I've played in a lot of them with loads of people, Melissa, Rogue, Dragon Advocate, Mikey, loads of players. So yeah, they'll stay open. If anyone wants to practice at any stage, just hop into one of those. They're called sit and goes. So it'll either be a 4-player tournament or a 6-player. So they're over quite quickly, and you can just kind of chill with some of your fellow buff dragons and yeah, practice a little bit. So yeah, they'll be open for the indefinite future.
There was one suggestion from the community. If I don't know if we can implement it, but maybe we can just play games as like a community. Like, I forgot what the game name is, where you can draw things and everybody has to guess what it is. I know you can
Pictionary.
set that up on Discord, or it cannot be on Discord, but just to get the
Pic-
community involved, I think it might be a good idea. We can talk about it in more detail later, but Pictionary, yeah, there you go.
Pictionary. Yeah, and I know we were planning for some trivia nights as well with puff prizes, so we still have a lot of things to put together and put forward for the community.
Biggie, you mentioned before, as we were just mic checking and chatting through the podcast, we spoke briefly about the new roles. Did we want to touch on that?
Yeah, sure. If any information you'd like to share. I know they just rolled out a couple of days ago, and there was a great session that VF had, and I think that was recorded and sent out. So anyone who missed it and wants to get clarification, Gugu did a great AMA with the community a couple of days ago. So highly recommend you watch that if you missed it. But Block, if you have any notes you'd like to share, yeah, please, it'd be great.
I was just noted that even the day after the roles launched, that Vias was already asking for feedback from ourselves, just to start to understand community sentiment. So if any of the community have any comments to the roles, positive feedback, any concerns, then feel free to DM any of us or Gugu as well, and we can start looking to take on that feedback and put some polls out there, like Vias mentioned in his AMA, to understand the sentiment around the roles and if any changes are needed. That was all I wanted to add, really.
Great. Okay. Yeah, good idea. Okay, we're just about hitting an hour. I don't see any additional questions in the chat or anyone looking to come up. So I think we're okay, right, everyone, to wrap this up? Belinda, want to thank you so much. I know it's late for you, and being able to put aside this time together with us. Thank you very much for that. It's so much appreciated.
I'm so glad to come on the Discord and meet so many puppies. It's very fun to be inside a community and seeing so many of the dragon profile pictures. I actually think at some point we should have the PFP project for Puff, so we get more people like wearing this profile picture and get more like mentions.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hope to have you back again in the future as a guest. We love hearing from you and your insight.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. Like, this is so fun. Let's do it sometime again, and I will try to make it to the tournament.
Great. Well, as we close out this interesting episode, the OGs want to thank everyone the Puff community. Belinda will continue to strive to bring you the best content week by week, bringing in fresh ideas, community projects, special guests. As you know, the Puff Poker Tournament is Saturday, so try not to miss it. Try to knock some of us out in the tournament. Mentioned the meme competitions coming up soon. Remember, the unbonding is tomorrow. I believe it's at 4:30 UTC tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes as we make our way to chapter 4. And a reminder to anyone who may be listening to the recording, which we'll put up on YouTube or Spotify, to come over to the Puff official Discord and join in on the upcoming fun. Remember to follow the official Puff and the new Puff OG Twitter page, don't forget, which is doing really fantastic in keeping the community up to date on daily activity on Twitter. So all the links will be in the YouTube description. Remember, don't fall for any scams. Don't click on any unofficial links. The OGs will never DM you first. And that's all for today, Puff fam. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks again from all of us here. And we'll see you over in the chats. Thank you.